swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
The previously on feels the need to remind me of Mando falling into an underwater hole and Bo-Katan doing a belly flop. I kind of feel like all the courage and skill I'd given them credit for is actually just a proprietary blend of Beskar steel and plot armor. Understanding this armor is very tricky. Sometimes it does it all, and other times it does nothing and lets water in to almost drown you.
You bathed in the living waters?
Cool, he did the thing! But I'd really love to know why they're called the living waters and what makes them so special. Good thing we have this whole episode to really dive into the neat lore. I mean, it's gonna be really fun spending this entire episode with Mando. I can't wait.
Can I ask you something?
You just did, right there. That was your question. I swear that joke was funnier when my third grade math teacher used it. Or maybe that just contributed to my paranoid nature, always expecting gotchas from everyone I meet.
Did you see anything alive?
Alive? Like what?
Nothing.
Why not just ask him if he saw the mythosaur? Din is obviously religious enough to care about being rebaptized. I don't think he'd doubt what you saw or mock you for it. There's absolutely no reason for you to keep this secret, unless you're saving it for a plot reveal in a later episode. And I swear to Revan, if this series ends with Grogu in a tiny Mando helmet wielding the lightsaber while barebacking Mithy, I'll assign 500 sins. Or maybe remove 500 sins. I don't know yet, but this is getting at least one sin.
I would invite you in for a feast, but I'm guessing that helmet isn't coming off again.
And I just realized how limited Mandalorians are during sexy time. Now it just seems like a depressing cult, especially for the Mandalesbians.
I've scuffed off a lot of Imperial warlords.
That sounds just vague enough to cover the writers for not wanting to show or explain the origin of this surprise attack. I could never get enough of the TIE fighter noise. It's so badass. This whole sequence is badass, and the show deserves to be rewarded for giving Daddy what he likes. And yes, I'm sorry. I will never say that again.
Are you still up for the transfer?
I don't see any other choice.
Episode confirms that these helmets do in fact obscure your vision. Hold on, do you need to push a button for your jetpack or not? Because when you leapt into the underground heading to the mines of Mandalore, you didn't push any buttons. I don't care how it works, just be consistent. Was there a reason, other than the danger zone, that made Bo Maverick Katan wait so long to fire up the engines?
Not a scratch.
Nobody likes a bragger, Mando. I bet you're a real hoot to play Halo with.
Those mudscuffers bombed my home.
This is a big character moment for Bo-Katan, who's now lost 2 homes to bombings by the Empire. And it's all ruined by the word mudscuffers. This is catastrophic for such a war-weary fighter losing the last shred of home she had left. She's not Leia getting angry at Han and Chewie for comedic effect. Also, simply adding another syllable would have gotten you closer to the target, mutterscuffers.
That's a lot of ships for an Imperial warlord.
I agree. You should show us where they all came from so we can get a better idea of what you're all up against and why.
I'm sending jump coordinates.
Wait, jumping away was an option the entire time? Way to render the freaking cool dogfight scenes completely pointless. If they had jumped away before leading the TIE interceptors back to Kalevala, Bo might still have that big uncomfortable looking chair.
Where?
Someplace they won't find us.
Is Mando talking about the viewer? Because saving a reveal for the end of the episode is the only reason to say this instead of naming the place. Welcome to Coruscant, the planet of over 1 billion phallic-looking buildings. We've got a big rock too, but you can't touch it. This is so cool. There's so many possibilities here. Is Grogu gonna get to explore the ruins of the Jedi Temple? Wait, where are Mando and Bo-Katan?
Sadly, my research was twisted into something cruel and inhumane at the behest of a desperate individual intent on using cloning technology to secure more power for himself.
No, you do not get to use my precious Mando to build a rickety Palpatine bridge. Just be Mando. Let the dead speak on their own time.
What my work explored was the hopes of combining multiple strands to create replicas that incorporated the best genetic attributes of both donors.
What is the thesis of this TED Talk? At first it sounded like it had something to do with the amnesty program.
The amnesty program saved my life.
But now he's talking about his research. Oh wait, it's about exposition, isn't it?
Though anything would be comfortable compared to the Outer Rim.
That's Outer Rimist. I've heard exploring the Outer Rim can be nice if you're willing to give it a chance, Pershing.
Empire, Rebels, New Republic, I can't keep track.
So say we all. Wait, is this not Battlestar? Where am I? Can this franchise finally show me how people don't fall out of these things like all the time, or why no one's hair looks windswept when they get to their destination?
You must be sure to visit the Sky Dome Botanical Gardens.
Chatty Uber drivers. Just let me stare at my phone awkwardly in silence until the ride is over. Thanks.
Have a good evening.
So when Mando said someplace they won't find us, he wasn't referring to the Empire, but the rest of the episode itself. Are Mando and Grogu coming back anytime soon? This is like Elaine and Jerry bailing on dinner with Peterman and leaving George stuck in the meal. The writers made us George. The top of this drink seems to magically remove itself by the time M34 hands it to Dr. Pershing. But I think we're all more concerned with how unappetizing this cloudy white liquid looks. I bet it's got a dumb name like Glacier Cherry Gatorade or White Cherry Powerade or Semen.
Uniforms did fit better.
I do miss the lights of hyperspace.
Episode reminisces about the good old days for all of the sometime. But it also humanizes the previously faceless and or voiceless henchmen that did the Empire's bidding, revealing details about who they are and what they care about. It's refreshing, helps expand the on-screen universe, and I guess is worth a cent off.
Because of this, Coruscant is one of only a handful of city planets known as an ecumenopolis.
Trying to sneak this world-building exposition into the episode like we'd want to know more about the universe. I'll give this sci-fi door points for not being a whoosh, but a zhong is still super annoying. Imagine the cacophony that must engulf this apartment block every morning during rush hour.
Wonder why they have you down here.
Chatty co-workers. Don't you have some salmon to heat up in the break room microwave, Brian?
But, you know, oh.
The asshole who still has their job after programming this droid to just haphazardly run into people.
So why not continue your research here?
I don't think it's something the New Republic would be interested in.
If they're not interested, then why did they have you talking about it in front of 50 million people earlier? They had graphics queued up and everything.
The ethics of cloning are complicated.
Yes, I know. We had 2 movies, 133 episodes of Clone Wars, and an ongoing series of Bad Batch all covering this very topic. Can we spend our Mando time covering something other than cloning, please?
Live a little, Doc. It's not the Empire.
No, but there are still rules, right? If I go to the Field Museum in Chicago and try to ride Sue the T-Rex in an attempt to mimic my favorite scene from the Dresden Files and they throw me out, that doesn't make them the Empire.
Are you experiencing any undue stress due to work or personal matters?
Interlinked.
It would require authorization from the department. You could submit a C-1023 request, but I've never seen someone from the amnesty program make one of those.
This friendly yet contentious interaction, coupled with a doctor being treated like a robot by a robot in his therapy session, shows how easily the people of this world can get lost in the bureaucratic process. And by the end of the episode, we'll understand a little more how easy it is for someone without an anchor to be chewed up by the machine and or exploited by an individual. I think feeling the tragedy wrapped in this utopia is going to squeeze another sin removal out of me. But also, squeezing anything out of me is a sin. Elia did say the New Republic needed help, but I don't think fare evasion was so complex that the scientists of Coruscant were still working the problem. Pershing is staring at people like this is the first time he's ridden the New York City subway. Did he see no other species on the Outer Rim? Because I've seen other species on the Outer Rim, and I don't even live in this world.
Songs days, am I right?
The writers make this saying a universal constant, and I hate them for it.
You can do it.
Why are they being allowed to do it? Show wants me to believe that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, they had their own Mondays, am I right? But they didn't have an OSHA, an FAA, or whomever's responsibility it would be to prevent people from falling to their death off this thing. Why was this droid designed to deal with suspicious passengers by stalking them as if it were in a horror movie? Really putting those doctoral degree observational skills to the test, ain't you, Doc? Sneaking into a salvage yard on Coruscant to steal something from a decommissioned Imperial ship? What you're actually stealing is from this season of Bad Batch. Omega would be very disappointed in you, Jon Favreau.
I must have passed you on Gideon's ship 100 times.
Well, they say it's the journey, not the destination. We've spent most of the past 10 minutes watching these two walking and talking in public transportation, and now they're just talking about other times they were walking in the same place, but not together. Just saying, sometimes it's not about the journey either. What? You mean she was gonna betray him all along? This changes everything. How will the Star Wars universe go forward from...
Wait, this is a mind flayer.
This is a 602 mitigator.
A rose by any other name cliche.
You'll see some pleasant colors, hear a light buzzing, and experience a great sense of relief in no time at all.
If that's your goal, why not just get him some weed? You've basically just described every afternoon right before I record this narration. I mean, when I get done recording this narration.
She brought me there. It was a trap.
You are a real credit to this program. It's nice to know that for every failure, there's a success like you.
I don't think this character could telegraph any harder that Elia is some kind of double agent or spy. The writers might as well have had her eat one of those travel biscuits. Well, if this device is just meant for healing now and it's only used for low voltages, why even leave the option for it to go to 11?
I'm bringing you to a Mandalorian covert.
Oh, they finally remembered who the main character was. This was a very strange episode of The Mandalorian.
It will go go smoother if you keep your helmet on. Trust me.
The entirety of my father's Birds and the Bees talk somehow makes it into the episode. Oh boy, I'm glad we're back to the main story so we can now watch Mandalorians do some walking. Well, everyone has to walk sometimes. Can't all be rocket packs, space battles, and blaster fights. It's an important and necessary... Oh, for the love of Grogu, come on, guys. This episode had so many cool things in it. It could have been a contender. It could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what it is, let's face it.
These are indeed the living waters.
All that walking just to watch the armorer test the pH balance of some water.
It's just really unappetizing to look at.
Too much to drink.
Come no further. You're an apostate.
Yeah, that's what your mom said last night.
What the f*** was that? Splitting the throttles? Coming around.
You want to touch it?
Are we allowed to?
Aw, is this your first time?
Do you still find your current housing situation comfortable?
Interlinked.
Jinjarin claims to have bathed in the living waters.
Is this true?
One time that happened.
Welcome, Bo-Katan of Clan Kree. This is the way.
This is the way.
One of us. Goo, goo, goo. One of us. Goo, goo, goo.